What if one mistake could ruin your life, and you didn't even know it was illegal? In Canada, ordinary actions like walking with your phone, feeding a squirrel, or posting a video could lead to fines, criminal charges, or even jail time. These aren't outdated laws buried in dusty books, they're being enforced today. Whether you're a citizen, visitor, or new immigrant, ignoring them could cost you big. In this video, we're uncovering 10 shocking Canadian laws you've probably broken without realizing it. Watch closely, breaking number 4 could get your entire life savings seized at the border. Number 10, pretending to be a professional online is a criminal offense. It might seem like harmless fun, creating a fake persona as a doctor, lawyer, or police officer for entertainment or social media. But in Canada, impersonating a licensed professional is not just misleading, it's illegal, and in many cases, criminal. Under Canada's criminal code, falsely representing yourself as someone in a regulated profession can result in fines, criminal charges, or even jail time, especially if your actions cause harm, confusion, or public mistrust. This applies whether you're doing it in person or online. Posting videos where you pose as a licensed therapist, offering legal advice, or wearing a fake uniform for content can trigger investigations, especially if someone relies on the information you give. There have been real cases in Canada where individuals were charged for running fake medical practices, pretending to be immigration consultants, or misrepresenting themselves during public protests. Authorities take this seriously because it erodes public trust, and in some situations, puts people's health, money, or safety at risk. Even stating a fake professional title in your bio or using stolen credentials can lead to identity fraud charges. So how do you stay safe? Be clear and honest about who you are, especially on social platforms. If you're giving advice or sharing knowledge, make it obvious that you're not a certified professional, and include disclaimers when needed. If you're creating content that involves costumes, skits, or acting, never claim expertise you don't have. And never, under any circumstance, use fake documents, badges, or titles to gain trust or influence. In Canada, professional titles like doctor, lawyer, engineer, and realtor are legally protected. Using them without proper licensing can quickly escalate into a criminal investigation. The digital world might feel like a playground, but the consequences are very real. Respect the line between creativity and fraud, and always make sure your online identity doesn't turn into a legal liability. Number 9, feeding wildlife can get you fined, even in your own backyard. It might feel kind and harmless to toss a piece of bread to a squirrel, leave food out for a raccoon, or feed birds in your neighborhood park. But in many Canadian cities, feeding wildlife is actually illegal, and can result in hefty fines. Municipalities like Vancouver, Toronto, and Calgary have passed strict bylaws banning the feeding of wild animals in both public and residential areas. These laws exist not to punish generosity, but to protect public safety, ecosystems, and even the animals themselves. Feeding wildlife may seem helpful, but it often causes animals to become dependent on humans for food, disrupting their natural behavior. Over time, they lose their instinct to forage and can become aggressive when food is not provided. Raccoons and squirrels, for example, may start breaking into homes or damaging property in search of a meal. There's also the risk of disease transmission, especially from rodents and birds, which can carry parasites, viruses, or bacteria that can affect both pets and people. In Vancouver, feeding wildlife can result in a $250 fine, and repeat violations may lead to further legal action or court appearances. Even on private property, these rules still apply. Putting out food on your balcony or in your yard, especially if it attracts larger animals like coyotes or bears, can be considered creating a public nuisance. In some cases, this could escalate into charges of endangering the public, particularly if children or pets are put at risk. If you enjoy observing animals, it's best to do so from a distance, without influencing their diet or behavior. Instead of feeding wildlife directly, consider supporting local conservation efforts, building a bird-safe garden, or donating to rehabilitation centers. These small changes help maintain the delicate balance between urban life and nature. In Canada, even small acts of kindness toward wildlife can have unexpected legal consequences, and protecting animals sometimes means leaving them alone. Number 8, ignoring jury duty can lead to fines or jail time. Getting a letter in the mail that says you've been selected for jury duty might feel like an inconvenience, but ignoring it is not an option in Canada. Being summoned to serve on a jury is a legal obligation, not a request. If you fail to respond, skip out without a valid reason, or simply don't show up, you could face serious consequences, including fines, a court summons, or even jail time. In some provinces, like Ontario or British Columbia, skipping jury duty can result in fines of up to $1,000, and in rare cases, up to 30 days in jail. Why is it taken so seriously? The jury system is a key part of Canada's justice system. It ensures that individuals charged with serious crimes are judged by a group of their peers. When people ignore their summons, it disrupts the process, delays trials, and increases pressure on those who do show up. Judges have made it clear in several rulings that serving on a jury is a civic responsibility, and failing to do so without legal exemption is a direct violation of court orders. Claiming you never saw the notice or were too busy isn't likely to hold up if the case goes before a judge. If you truly can't attend, due to illness, financial hardship, or personal conflicts, you must request an exemption or deferral through the proper channels. Each province has a different process, but you usually need to respond quickly with proof. Ignoring the letter entirely or simply hoping it goes away is the worst thing you can do. That envelope from the courthouse may look harmless, but it carries real weight. Whether you agree with the system or not, failing to respect a jury summons can damage your legal record, your reputation, and your freedom. So if one shows up in your mailbox, take it seriously. It might feel like a burden, but it's also a sign that the law sees you as a trusted citizen. Number 7. Sharing certain photos online could get you sued or charged. Snapping a quick photo and posting it to Instagram or TikTok feels harmless, until it isn't. In Canada, sharing photos or videos of someone without their consent, especially in a private, embarrassing, or sensitive situation, can land you in serious legal trouble. Under Canadian privacy laws, and in particular under cyberbullying and criminal harassment provisions, you could be sued, or even charged criminally, for sharing media that violates someone's reasonable expectation of privacy. What does that mean in practice? Filming someone having an argument, falling asleep on public transit, or reacting emotionally in public, then posting it without their permission, could be considered a violation of their dignity. Even if you're in a public place, that doesn't always mean you're free to publish. And if the person in the image is a minor, the stakes become even higher. Courts have ruled that the intent behind sharing doesn't matter as much as the impact, meaning you could be liable even if you didn't mean to harm anyone. These types of posts can lead to defamation claims, invasion of privacy suits, or criminal charges under Canada's Protecting Canadians from Online Crime Act. So, what should you do before sharing that funny clip or candid street photo? Ask yourself, is this person identifiable? Would they feel humiliated or exposed? Could this photo affect their job, reputation, or mental health? If the answer is yes, or even maybe, don't post it. When in doubt, blur faces, get verbal or written consent, or simply keep the content to yourself. It's not worth risking your reputation, or your freedom, over a few likes. In today's digital world, what seems like a harmless upload could quickly spiral into a legal nightmare. Social media is public, permanent, and powerful. And in Canada, the law takes privacy, consent, and online respect very seriously. Always post with purpose, and with caution. Number 6. Crossing the street while distracted can get you fined. We all do it, staring at our phones while walking through a busy city. But did you know that in parts of Canada, this everyday habit could actually get you ticketed? Cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal have introduced and enforced rules around jaywalking and distracted walking, especially when it puts you or others in danger. If you're caught crossing the street outside of a designated crosswalk or while staring down at your phone, you could face a fine ranging from $50 to $125, depending on the city and circumstance. Authorities argue that pedestrian distraction has become a growing safety concern. With the rise of smartphones, more people are stepping into traffic without looking, leading to a spike in accidents, near misses, and even fatalities. Some provinces have launched public awareness campaigns urging citizens to put your phone down and look up while crossing the road. While there isn't a federal law against distracted walking, municipal bylaws can be strictly enforced, especially in high-traffic areas, school zones, and busy intersections. If you're found at fault in an accident, even partially, it could impact your insurance claim or result in civil liability. So how do you protect yourself? It's simple but crucial: be fully aware of your surroundings when walking in public spaces. Always use marked crosswalks, obey traffic signals, and avoid looking at your phone while crossing, even if the street seems clear. Not only will this help you avoid fines, but it could literally save your life. If you need to check a message or change a playlist, step aside safely before doing so. In today's fast-paced world, a few seconds of inattention can lead to serious legal and physical consequences. This law may seem excessive at first, but it exists to prevent something far worse than a fine, becoming the next statistic in a completely avoidable tragedy. Stay alert, stay aware, and know that sometimes, the smartest move is simply looking both ways. Number 5. Recording conversations without consent can backfire. In Canada, it's perfectly legal to record a conversation, as long as you're part of it. This is called one-party consent, and it means that if you're involved in a phone call, meeting, or private discussion, you can legally record it without telling the other person. But here's where it gets tricky: while the recording itself might be legal, sharing or publishing it can cross the line into criminal activity. Once you distribute the recording, especially if it damages someone's privacy, reputation, or safety, you could be violating privacy laws or even face charges under criminal harassment or defamation statutes. Let's say you secretly record a work meeting or a heated conversation with your landlord and then post it online. If that audio or video contains sensitive information, or was recorded in a setting where the other party had a reasonable expectation of privacy, you could be sued for damages, even if you were legally allowed to make the recording. In some provinces, this also applies to video recordings in private spaces like homes, offices, or bathrooms. And if the person recorded is a minor, the consequences can be even more severe. Courts in Canada have ruled in multiple cases that releasing a private recording, even to make a point, can lead to civil penalties, loss of employment, and permanent digital consequences. So what should you do? If you're recording for personal protection, like documenting harassment or abuse, keep the file private and use it only in official legal or investigative settings. Avoid posting it online, sending it to others, or using it to publicly embarrass someone, even if you think they deserve it. When it comes to conversations, privacy laws in Canada are designed to protect everyone involved. One mistake could turn your attempt to protect yourself into a legal nightmare. Always ask yourself, is this something that should stay between me and my lawyer, or am I risking far more by pressing send? Number 4. Carrying too much cash can get your money seized. Traveling with a lot of cash. You might think it's safer than using cards or wiring money, but in Canada, carrying more than 10,000 Canadian dollars across the border without declaring it is a serious legal issue. According to the Proceeds of Crime, Money Laundering, and Terrorist Financing Act, anyone entering or leaving Canada must report if they're carrying large amounts of currency or monetary instruments. Failure to do so can result in the money being seized, and in some cases, not returned at all. Even if you're not doing anything illegal, officers from the Canada Border Services Agency, CBSA, have full authority to detain you, search your belongings, and confiscate funds that aren't declared. This applies not just to paper money, but also to travelers' checks, bank drafts, and even prepaid cards. You could be held up at the border, questioned for hours, and face steep administrative penalties, sometimes in the thousands. What's more shocking? You don't have to be charged with a crime for the government to keep your money, simply not declaring it is enough. If you're planning to carry large sums for business, relocation, or personal reasons, always declare the amount honestly using the Cross-Border Currency or Monetary Instruments Report, E677, form. This might seem like a hassle, but it's the only way to protect yourself from legal trouble and potential asset forfeiture. For immigrants, international students, or travelers new to Canadian law, this rule can be particularly dangerous because many assume it's just a customs recommendation, when in fact, it's the law. Being unaware doesn't protect you. So next time you travel, ask yourself, is carrying cash worth the risk? Or would it be safer to use a secure bank transfer, wire service, or digital payment method? Knowing this law could save you from losing your entire life savings at the border, and possibly being flagged for financial crimes you never committed. Number 3. Misusing the Canadian flag can get you in trouble. The Canadian flag is a national symbol of unity, pride, and identity, but did you know that misusing or defacing it in public can actually lead to legal consequences? While freedom of expression is protected under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, there are still limits when it comes to how the flag is displayed, especially when it involves protests, vandalism, or public disorder. In some municipalities, there are bylaws that prohibit the use of national symbols in a way that is considered offensive, inflammatory, or disrespectful to the general public. For example, if someone were to spray paint or burn the flag during a protest, they could face charges such as public mischief, incitement, or even hate-related offenses, depending on the context. These actions can also provoke a strong public reaction, leading to investigations, arrests, or court appearances. Even using the Canadian flag on commercial products or in marketing without following proper guidelines could result in penalties. The Government of Canada has clear rules about how the flag should be used, including how it must be raised, lowered, and displayed in official or public spaces. So how can you stay safe? Whether you're creating artwork, protesting, or simply decorating for Canada Day, make sure you're respecting the flag code. Avoid altering the design, adding offensive symbols, or displaying it in a way that's torn, dirty, or upside down, unless you're doing so as an approved signal of distress. While it may seem like a harmless form of protest or self-expression, misusing the flag can unintentionally cross the line into legally risky territory. If you're unsure about whether your use of the flag is legal, consult local bylaws or official flag usage guidelines. Respecting the flag isn't just about tradition, it's about understanding how national symbols are protected under both law and public expectation in Canada. Number 2, banning your tenant from having guests could cost you. If you're a landlord in Canada, you might think you're entitled to control what happens inside your property, including who your tenant invites over. But under residential tenancy laws in provinces like British Columbia, Ontario, and Alberta, landlords have no legal right to ban a tenant from having guests, unless it's clearly written in the lease, and even then, it must follow provincial guidelines. Even trying to restrict overnight visitors can be seen as an infringement on tenant rights, potentially opening the door to legal action against you. These laws are designed to protect a tenant's right to quiet enjoyment of their home. That means they have the right to live in the space without interference, including interference in who they allow inside. Unless the guest is causing damage, disturbance, or violating other laws, landlords can't take action just because they disapprove of who is visiting. In fact, trying to control or monitor guest visits could be interpreted as harassment, which is a serious offense under provincial housing regulations. There have even been tribunal rulings where landlords were forced to pay financial penalties to tenants for breaching these rights. If you're a landlord, this means you need to be very careful about how you set boundaries. Instead of attempting to ban guests outright, make sure your lease includes clear language around responsible guest behavior, like noise levels, parking, and shared spaces. And if you're a tenant, knowing these rights can protect you from being pushed around or unfairly treated. Just remember, your guests must still follow building rules, and any damage or repeated complaints could justify eviction proceedings. But under normal circumstances, having friends or family stay over is completely legal, and landlords who try to say otherwise may end up on the wrong side of a housing tribunal. Whether you rent or own, understanding this law helps maintain a fair and respectful living situation for everyone involved. Number 1, you can be arrested for swearing in public. Imagine you're walking down a busy street in Nova Scotia or Ontario, and after a frustrating phone call, you let out a loud curse. Seems harmless, right? But under certain local bylaws, that single moment of emotional release could be considered disorderly conduct or even causing a disturbance. Yes, swearing in public, especially when it's loud, aggressive, or accompanied by confrontation, can technically lead to a police warning, a ticket, or in rare cases, arrest. It's not just about the words you use, it's about the tone, setting, and who's around you. If your outburst is witnessed by children, seniors, or in sensitive areas like schools or hospitals, the risk increases significantly. While this law isn't enforced daily, it's still active and used in situations where public peace is disrupted. For example, in one case, a man in Halifax was fined for yelling profanities at a bus driver. The court viewed his actions as an intentional disturbance of the public. It's a gray area, but the law allows officers to act when they believe someone is affecting the public order or making others feel unsafe or harassed. This isn't about punishing emotion, it's about maintaining civility in shared spaces. And it's not limited to cursing. Aggressive gestures or shouting in certain contexts could also get you in trouble under these rules. So what can you do? Be mindful of your surroundings. Expressing frustration is human, but doing it loudly in a public setting can become a legal issue. If you're angry or upset, step away, lower your voice, and avoid engaging in heated verbal exchanges. Especially if law enforcement or security is present, staying calm protects more than your peace of mind. It could protect your freedom. You don't want a criminal record over a few angry words shouted on the street. Understanding where freedom of speech ends and public order laws begin can keep you out of unexpected trouble. Canada might seem like one of the world's most peaceful and welcoming countries, and in many ways, it is. But as we've seen, even in a nation built on politeness and order, there are laws that can catch you off guard. From feeding wildlife to recording conversations, or even just walking distracted across the street, these aren't the kinds of rules most people think about in their daily lives. And yet, they carry very real consequences. Whether you're a local, a visitor, or someone planning to move here, understanding these laws isn't optional, it's essential. You don't want to be the person who ends up with a fine, criminal charge, or a life-altering mistake, just because no one warned you. That's why videos like this matter, because knowledge protects you. These laws are often buried in the fine print, overlooked in conversation, and rarely taught openly. But now, you're armed with insights most people still don't know. Remember, it's not about living in fear, it's about living aware. The more you know, the better decisions you'll make, and the safer you'll be in a country that has more legal complexity than most realize. So whether you're walking downtown, posting online, or hosting a friend, stay informed, stay smart, and don't let a small mistake become a big problem. Which of these laws surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, we actually read them all. If you found this video eye-opening, watch our previous upload, it might just save you from another unexpected law. We put a lot of time and energy into creating these videos, so if you'd like to support us, please subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, and it means the world to us.